G'day guys, thought I would jump on here on the eve of Australia's Strongest Man and Woman and give you my predictions. Now, I'm doing this in good faith that everyone is going to take it the right way and that nobody's going to take offence to anything I say. I'm just giving my honest thoughts on how I think the events are going to go. If you think I've got it wrong, prove me wrong, okay? Boys and girls, make sure you do your absolute best to prove me wrong if there's an event I've not named you in that you think I will. Now I'm going to start off with the men. The women will be in another video, so head over to my channel and check out both videos. They'll be up pretty much at the same time. I don't care if that's bad for the algorithm. So what we're going to start with is the men. Now I'll run through the athletes first, then I'll go event by event, tell you who I reckon we should look out for in each event and who I think will come out on top. So first up we have Sean Gillen, the big Irishman from Victoria, followed by Jordan Osborne, Australia's reigning, defending title holder, Australia's strongest man. We then have Jihad Al-Masri, his brother, off to World's Strongest Man. He's staying in Australia, competing for our title. We have Hank Turnison out of New South Wales, the Australian deadlift record holder with 1,000 pounds. We've got big Dylan Lockhart, the American from the Gold Coast. He'll be coming down and vying for the title. We have Max McCall coming over from WA, an experienced ASM athlete. We have a newcomer, Ryan Rullies, to our Australia's Strongest Man lineup. Another newcomer, Victoria's Strongest Man, Josh Pataka. Very impressive performance from him at VSM. We have a bit of an unknown, Nathan Woods. Now, I'm not going to mention Nathan in my predictions because he's got his Instagram on private, and I honestly just haven't been able to stalk his account to see what his lifts are like. We've got big Macaulay Tinker coming from New South Wales, and Aidan Kanini rounds out the men's field. Now, there's one athlete in that field that I'm not going to mention in my top three predictions, and that is Max McCall. Now, Max, don't take offence to this. I think Max will place 4th and 5th in several events. I don't think he's got a standout enough event to come in the top 3 against some of these big monsters, but I do think Max will have a very consistent performance across every single event and will definitely put himself in the contention for that podium spot. Now, first event we've got is the yoke run. Yoke race. It is going to be a drag race. These boys are real good at yoke. It's heavy. It's going to be fast. Now, this tends to favour the heavier athletes. I've got in my top 3 amongst it, in the vying for it, I've got Ryan Rullies. Now, I checked out his Instagram. I've seen him running a 455 yoke real fast. I saw some footage of him at New South Wales Strongest, beating out Aidan. Now, Aidan's a good yoke runner, so if you're beating out someone like that, you've got a bit of potential. I know what Jordan and Sean are capable of, and Dylan Lockhart, being that size, is a very dangerous prospect if he can be fit on that yoke run. We then move on to the max axle. Now, from the numbers that I've seen, I've got Jordan and Aidan up there, and looking at the technical aspect, which a lot of people do struggle with, I think Macaulay Tinker will be one to watch on that event. I think he'll be able to get a clean up to his shoulders that most of the other boys might struggle with, and I think from there, it's all about whether he's got that explosiveness to press it. We move on to the tyre flip. Now, this one's a bit of an unknown. I really don't know how to go about this one, so I'm just picking guys on general athleticism. And again, the bigger, heavier guys tend to do a little bit better on this event. Now, I've got Jordan amongst the top guys again for this event because he is manic when it comes to moving events and events that you can just go all out on. I've got big Jihad Al-Masri as well, and Dylan Lockhart with that big wingspan, able to get himself latched around that tyre a little further than anybody else. Moving on to event number 4, so rounding out day 1, we have the frame hold for time. Now, again, a bit of an unknown. It's a grip hold. We haven't really seen something like this other than maybe a Hercules hold, in which I've seen Jordan do really well at Hosfella. I think Aidan Kanini's got a great grip. Dylan Lockhart again with those big hands, and Jihad Al-Masri is very good with his grip training. Moving on to day 2. Now, keeping in mind, this will be the second day of a 2-day comp, which a lot of these guys might not have done before, but the deadlift starts off day 2, and you can't go past Hank Turnison for the win. Australian deadlift record holder, 455 kilos on the deadlift. He is the absolute favourite for this event win, followed by a slew of guys around that 380 to 400 mark. So you've got Josh Pataka, you've got Sean Gillen, you've got Jordan Osborne, and I think Jihad Al-Masri will bring up his deadlift to match those guys. There'll be a lot of guys on 340, 360. I think that they will get some shared points on those, but I think the guys that will be at the top end, 360, 380, I think will probably be a little bit down on our best after the 4 events on day 1, but the guys that will be in the best will be those 4. Next up, we have the Quest Stone. Now, this was done at the Arnold Pro. None of the boys in this, one of the boys in this competition, Sean Gillen, actually had experience with that stone. The rest will be going in a bit blind. I still think Jihad Al-Masri is one of, if not the best stone walker for time in the country. So I have him winning that event. I think Dylan and Macaulay will do very well as well. Big boys with big wingspans and big tanks on them both. Especially Macaulay, I know he does a lot of cardio work, so I expect him to have the tank to go with Jihad, and it will be a real grit test to see who can come out best on that one. The max dumbbell, again, a little bit of an unknown. Not seeing any numbers from any of the boys. So I'm just going to have to go off previous performances. Jordan and Aiden are the best 2 dumbbell pressers in the country right now. So they will be the 2 to watch on that event. But somebody like a Macaulay or a Max, some of the more explosive guys, could sneak in there, because this is one event that doesn't rely as much on brute power, brute pressing power. It can be done with more explosiveness. The final event is a stone to shoulder. Now, one of the best athletes in the country at that sort of event is Aiden Kanini. Jordan Osborne is, again, very good with this one. Explosive at the hips, very good with that stone pick. And Jihad, you can never count out Al Masri on a stone event. So I have those 3 as looking to do really well on the stones. But, again, you've got other athletes. Max McCall might be very good with that extension if it's not as heavy. Dylan Lockhart, he's a long way to pull the stone up, but he's also got a big old wingspan to wrap around it. So you never know what's going to happen on that stone run at the end. But those are the 3, Aiden, Jordan and Jihad, that I think will do the best. Now, where does that leave us for overall placings? Well, I've got a very clear number 1. There's a guy that I reckon will place top 3 in 5 or 6 of these events, and that is Jordan Osborne. I think he will be defending his Australia's Strongest Man title this weekend. I think placing in second, we will have Jihad Al-Masri, and in third, I think we'll see Aiden Kanini, very experienced. I have in fourth Dylan Lockhart, but between him and Aiden, I've got just as many top 3 placings, so it's going to go the way of whoever has the least points lost when it comes to the later placings. That's my placings for top 3 Australia's Strongest Man 2023. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. And guys, please take this all with a grain of salt. If you've got any issue with it, take it up with me tonight at dinner. Nicely, please, gently. And we'll have a chat about it. But I'm going to be cheering all of you guys on tomorrow and on Sunday on the microphone. I'll be the MC at the event. And guys, stay safe, enjoy the competition, and just really enjoy the experience of representing this country and vying for the title of our strongest man.